Welcome, folks, to the first episode of Season 4 of BattleTech Simplified. I'm Michael Shockman, I'll be your host and commentator. And in today's episode, we will be covering two mechs. And we'll be covering two mechs on the first Friday of every month, going forward for at least for the foreseeable future in this series. Each of these mechs will be it will be in one episode. In each episode, there will be two mechs, and each episode will cover the top two mechs that I was able to find in each of the weight brackets of each of the subsequent weight classes for mechs. So in today's episode, we will be covering the 20-ton weight bracket of the light class, and we will be covering first the gun. The gun is a moderately fast light omni-mech, which was designed by the Capellan Confederation for infantry support. Built by Ceres Metallus Industries in the Lockton factory, the design was released in the wake of the blackout, just as the Capellans launched a new invasion of the Republic of the Sphere. Created to serve as a garrison mech, its role is to serve as fire support for the garrison's infantry and battle armor formations. However, with only 3.5 tons of armor, the mech lacks sufficient protection to counter heavier combat vehicles and traditional battle mechs in combat. The mech features a small cockpit and an XL gyro to save weight. As for the weapons and equipment, ladies and gentlemen, the gun is designed with 10 tons of pod space. The primary configuration of the gun features a combination of anti-infantry and anti-vehicle energy weaponry. Its main weapon is a plasma rifle mounted in the right arm with 2 tons of ammo located in the adjacent torso. The weapon is backed up by a pair of ER medium lasers. Next, we are going to be covering another mech known as the Hornet. This one's a little bit different. The Hornet debuted in 2760 as an urban recon mech. Lack of interest forced the design to be shelved for 2 years, just 2 years later, but not before the SLDF had procured the HNT 151 variant in some numbers. In 2990, Callan Industries rediscovered the blueprints and resumed production of the upgraded HNT 171 in 3051. This would be short-lived, however, as the production line was destroyed by the Capellans in 3069. Callan had a hard time selling the Hornet as an armed forces to the armed forces of the Federated Sons, so most of these mechs initially went to the mercenary market. A major user of the initial runs was Wolf's Dragoons, who demonstrated its effectiveness on Misery, which caused the Federated Sons to take renewed interest in this mech. Since then, the Hornet has been deployed by March militias as a replacement for the Wasps and Stingers, as well as by the Seti Hussars and Deneb light cavalry. It is also still popular among mercenaries. The Hornet is designed around the concept of being able to swiftly move through an urban environment with relatively heavy armor. Ironically, because of the eclectic mix of weapons and relatively low speed, the Hornet is only somewhat effective when inside a city. When caught outside an urban environment, the mech is hard-pressed to defend itself. As for its weapons and equipment, the Hornet carries a Holly LRM 5 launcher as its primary long-range weapon, which allows it to strike at an enemy at distances of over 600 meters. In an urban environment where the LRM launcher becomes more of a liability than an asset, the Hornet carries a Martel medium laser. Additionally, the mech is armed with a main fire point defense anti-missile system to defend against missile attacks. As for my personal feelings on both of these mechs, ladies and gentlemen, I would definitely have to say that both of these mechs kind of represent the, how best to put it, the bare minimum of what a mech can be. The gun is a great weapon. Is a great weapon of war for dealing with very small enemies like battle armor and infantry and light vehicles. It's kind of along the same lines of what the blackjack originally was designed for, which was riot suppression and internal policing, but is more of a more refined version of that. Although it seems to be very much a lot more heavily armed than its counterpart in this episode, which is the Hornet, which apparently just it kind of seems less like a I hate to say this, sorry Tex, but the Hornet almost seems kind of like a new take on the urban mech, on the beloved trash can of doom. Um, Although I think even the urban mech is by standard just a lot more heavily armed and is a lot more modular on it as well. So take that as you will. Yeah. Yeah, guys, that's gonna about do it for today's episode. I was expecting this to take a lot longer than it did. Um, so yeah, stay tuned. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Also, check out the links down in the description to find out how you can best support my work, as well as staying tuned for the outro to do so as well. Please also comment down below with what your feelings on the 20-ton weight bracket of mechs is. Do you think that they're a little better than like battle armors, and even then maybe not as good as some battle armors, or do you think that they actually have a use on the modern battlefield in BattleTech? Let me know down below. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to about do it for today's episode. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, you know what to do. Stay tuned for the outro to find out how you can best support my work. I am Michael Schockman. Stay tuned for next month's episode when we dive into the 25-ton weight class. And until then, bye-bye for now. Thanks for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Secondly, if stream bucks are plentiful, please consider supporting the channel either by subscribing on Twitch, pledging on Patreon, or by grabbing some merch over at the Shock Shop. The links to all of these will be in the About section and in the description down below. Again, thank you to all of our supporters for all of the likes, shares, and views. I really appreciate it, and without all of you, our work here would not be possible. I'm Michael Schockman, folks. I've been your host and commentator, and remember, keep it real, keep it safe, keep it healthy, and we will see you guys all again soon in the next one. Peace off, everybody.